Hey, good morning everyone. We are going to paint again this morning. Surprise, surprise. My name is Karen Wolf and I'm at the studio today, and we are going to paint a peaceful place. This painting right here. So hope you guys have had a chance to gather up all your supplies. I had posted it on the morning, Hannah. Hey, I had posted it on with the post, the colors that you needed and the brushes, all the materials that you need. Hey Sandy, I saw you were ready to go. So you will need this morning to paint this painting. You will need white, orange, green, blue, just a dark brown umber color, and purple. I tried to just keep them as simple as I can so that, hey Ginger, so that you all can paint them fairly easily, and if you have trouble you can go back. So hey, I hope you all are doing good too, Hannah. This is a crazy time we're living in. It's totally unexpected, and I hope everybody's coping and doing well. So but this painting isn't as difficult as it may look. I know it may be a little bit scary at first, but if we break it down, just paint the background in first and then paint what's in front. Just take it a step at a time. I'm pretty confident you guys can do it. So those were the colors, and then the brushes that we need to do this. I had a large, which I call large. It's a 1-inch flat, just a 1-inch flat, a 1/2-inch flat, a round. I'm not sure what I used it for. This one's the number 6, but you could use a little bit smaller one than that. They usually run 246. And then a liner, script liner. This one's a number 1, and a number 10 bristle brush. You can use a number 8, number 10, just something big. But really just use the brushes that you have on hand, the paint that you have. You can use, if you don't have paint, you can use color pencils, chalk, whatever you've got on hand. If you don't have it, this video will be on my page, my Facebook page, Art by Karen Wolf Facebook page. You can paint it later. And also you can paint on canvas. This one I've used is a 12 by 16, but if you don't have canvas, you can use like cardboard, paint it on like a piece of wood or something that you have, paper. I had out some watercolor paper last night actually for Henry to paint his on. So hey Donna, hope you guys are able to paint along this morning, and like I said, if you can't paint along, watch it. They're very relaxing. I think you'll enjoy it, and then you can get your stuff together and paint it later. And the good thing about it being saved on my pages is you can watch it, stop it, pause it, go back, just whatever you need to do to paint. So let's get started. So hey, all right, so if you can all see that there. All right, so what we're going to do first is we're going to take, oh, I don't have a cup of water. Hold just 1 second. That's crazy. Usually I try to make sure I have everything there. You do need a cup of water. I have a mister bottle with just water in it, just a little mister bottle handy, and I didn't have that on my list, but that's just in case your paint dries out. And then your paint, of course, and brushes, and a hair dryer is always nice to have a hair dryer to dry in between, and we will be using that today, and paper towels. So we'll take that bristle brush, largest bristle brush there, and I'm just putting it into my cup of water, and I'm going to dry it really good with a paper towel. And don't be worried about not having the the shape on here drawn out, the image drawn out, because it's simple, and we'll sketch it in as we go. So, I hope you guys can see that. That's just a little close. So, looks like it's cutting this one off a little bit. Okay. But the first color that we're going to use is the blue color and the brown. We're going to go into the blue and the brown, and then take a bit of that white, and this will make a gray color. Okay, this is just a gray blue color. So you don't, if it looks brown, if it looks too brown, I don't want it to look brown. I want it to look blue. I want it to look like this gray color here. So it looks like this. If it gets too brown, just add more blue, and then when you add the white to it, it makes a gray color. Acrylic paint dries 2 to 3 shades darker, so if you think that it's not dark enough, it is. The problem with acrylic is getting it light enough. I'm thinking this is just, will that work better? I just feel, no. There we go. I just feel like you couldn't see the whole thing. Okay, hopefully that won't fall on my head. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go around, and I'm holding my brush 3/4 of the way back, and I'm painting with the side of my brush. I'm not painting with the tip of my brush. I'm painting with this edge here. Okay, and then I'm kind of moving my brush back and forth, back and forth. I'm not painting in this direction. Don't do that. Don't get a pattern going like this. You want to mix it up a bit so that you don't have that bit of a pattern. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around the outside edge first, taking that blue and brown white mixture. See, I'm just going back down in, and you'll use a good bit of this color. And if, like I said, if you get too much brown, just add a little bit more blue to it, and then the white will lighten it up, of course, and then that makes the gray color. That makes the gray color that you need. So then I'm reloading my brush, and I'm going around the outside edge. We're just going to do this side first, going all the way down to the bottom. Now, outside edge, this will be darker than the inside. So we're going to go using that motion back and forth. And then once you start to where you're seeing the canvas again, you need to reload, because you don't want to stretch your paint too thin. Now, this is the underpainting, so this is the part of the painting, for one thing, where it doesn't look so great. It's like uglyish. Hey Gina, Charmaine, good morning. This is the part of the painting where it doesn't look so great. So keep that in mind. So if you're trying to make it look pretty now, don't be doing that. We're just getting color on. This is the underpainting. So, and this will take more than one coat. So, but the outside edge is dark, and then you add the white to that dirty brush. Once you get in this far, then we'll start, I'm just going to go into the white with that dirty brush, and then I'm going to make it lighter towards the subjects. See, this area right here is your light area, and then this is your darker area here, okay? So then we're going to take that dirty brush, hold your brush back, and we're still scumbling in. Once I lose color, once my brush empties out, I go back in for more color. And this does take a while. But this is kind of the stress reliever part of the painting. This is where you just put color in and just have fun with it. just release some stress and relax. This is kind of a relaxer too. It's a relaxing stroke because there's really not, you don't have to be all perfect or anything with it. So we've got this part in here. Then we're going to go over to the other side and do the same thing. I'm going to go back in. I'm not rinsing my brush at all. I'm just going into the blue and the brown. More blue than brown. See, I got a little bit more brown there than what I needed, so I'm just going to add some more blue. Go into the white, making my gray color. And it doesn't have to be the exact same color as you had before. Just similar. It's a little darker than what I had before, but I can add a little bit more white to that if I want to make it lighter. I'll just put some of it up here so it'll go together. Maybe put some over here on the side darker. But I'm going to make this darker anyways, just to make it all kind of match. So keep going into that gray color. All the way down to the bottom. And I didn't get started at 11, and I apologize for that. I had to change it to 11:30. I got over here this morning and thought I had everything, and I had forgotten my charger. So I had to go back home and get my charger. I'm always afraid that my battery will die on me while I'm in the middle of painting, and you guys will wonder what in the world happened. So anyways, that's where I went. So I had to go all the way home and get my charger and run out of gas, which I didn't want to do because I'm scared to death to go to the gas station. So, morning. Hey, Connie. Hey, good for you. I hope you're painting. Julie, Teresa, you guys need to get your brushes and stuff out and get to painting. So we're down here with this. So, and like I said, don't stretch it thin, but we'll go back over that again. We're going to go back over this again. So then once you get this, I want you to go into the white with that dirty brush. I'm just dipping down into the white, and before this dries on me, because once that dries, you have to work quickly with acrylic. It dries pretty fast. Once that dries, it's hard to blend that edge. See how that edge blended? If you let that dry and then come back to it, it's hard to cover. So, I'm just going down in and getting more white on my brush, on that dirty brush. And painting in this all the way into the center. So we've got the whole canvas covered at this point. That's the whole thing, okay? So it's just random strokes, holding your brush back halfway at least, 3/4 of the way is good. We started out with the brown and the blue, went around the outside edge, brown and the blue, and added the white, and then made a gray color. And then we added white to that dirty brush, scumbled into the center, scumble, scumble, scumble. And then we went over here, did the same thing, and we did the dark on the edge, and then added the white and scumble, scumble, scumble. So now we've got the whole thing covered. We've got the darker around the outside edge and then like towards the center. So what we're going to do then is I'm going to rinse that brush and lay it down for a minute, and I'm going to take my hairdryer and I'm going to dry this really good because we're going to go back over it again. So I'm just drying that with a paper towel, clean that brush, lay that down. I'm going to take my hairdryer, hot or warm's good, and then dry it with your hairdryer. And two, one thing you want to remember as you're painting any color that, hey, more people coming on, Denise, Sandy, Connie, oh, and Jesse. Hey, good morning, everyone. As you're painting along, the color, whatever color touches the outside of the painting, like down here, this would be brown. Of course, this is the blue color here, and this, of course, has some of the green in it. But you'll want to paint that when you have that color on your brush. You'll want to paint that color. I'm going to get some on my brush here and show you. You want to paint that color over on this edge. Just wrap that color around while you have it on your brush. And that will finish that edge up nice, and the color will match. Of course, this doesn't match as well because I did this at home, and this is the original painting. But as you can see, that just finishes that edge real nice. And what that is for, why you should do that, is if you're not going to if you're not going to frame that painting, you can take it home and hang it on the wall, and it's good to go. But if you frame your painting, it covers up that edge, so you don't have to worry about it. So that's just a nice thing to do just to finish it. So, hey Jackie, hey Jill, hope you're doing good. Haven't seen you for a while. All right, welcome, and hope you guys are painting along. So now we've painted the first go round, the underpainting, and we're getting ready to go back in and paint the second one. So you go into the blue and the brown again, just doing that same thing that we did before, taking the blue and the brown color, making that mixture, a gray color, and that same stroke that we used before, outside edge is a little darker. And once your brush starts scooting and you don't have any more paint on there, you've got to, actually before you don't have paint on there, you've got to go back in and reload, because if you stretch your paint too thin, you're just going to scrub, and you're going to scumble back down to the canvas, and you don't want to do that, because all that effort that you made to get that paint on there is gonna just all be for nothing. You're just scrubbing your paint away. So, and this is a student grade paint, so it takes more coverage. It takes a lot of paint to cover, so sometimes it takes 2 or 3 coats, and depending on humidity. Sometimes if it's rained a lot or it snowed a lot, or a lot of humidity in the air. So I'm going back down and just getting the more white on my brush, and then we're going to start towards the center. But if it gets too dry, your paint gets too dry, that's what the Mr. Wattle's for. So I'm going back into the white and misting in, and I'm scumbling in that center. And when I go back out in to blend that side color that we put in first, that pulls in towards the center. So the center is still lighter. It's not white. It has some blue in it, is what we want, but it's lighter. We don't want it to be, oh, that's pure blue. We don't want it to be pure white or anything, just lighter than the outside edge. And that adding white to your brush, and it'll pick up, to the dirty brush, it'll pick up that other paint too. So it's still lighter, but it's not pure white. So you just want the outside edge to be darker than your center. And the reason for that is it's just an eye stopper, holding your eye to the center here of the painting, and not letting your eye go off there and not come back. I mean, you do have an eye stopper here and here, which helps. And this piece of grass bringing your eye back in. And these over here are some little eye stoppers. That little darkness, though, will help you keep your eye from going completely off the canvas and not coming back. Okay, so then we've got this side done. We're going to switch over to the other side. Same thing as we did before. We're going into the blue and the brown and the white, making a gray mixture. Loading that brush. That's a little bit blue, so I'm going to add a little bit more brown. Adding a little bit more brown will just gray that a little bit. There we go. So you just remember just random strokes and don't make your don't do this. Don't do that. You want to mix that up so that you don't have that pattern, because once you do that, once you start swishing back and forth like that, it just makes a pattern, and your eye just will get stuck on that and you won't be able to stop looking at it. So it's good to just mix that up so you have better eye flow throughout your painting when you're scumbling like this. So I'm scumbling down here in some more of that dark color, and then I'm going to into the white, just going into the white. And you can see I'm not being real careful to where this is, you know, all any perfect way or anything. It's just random. It sounds like I'm pushing really, really hard, but I'm not. You just want to make sure, too, that you blend that right up into the edge. Blend that up into the edge. Getting a little light here in the middle. Real light. Woo-wee. Didn't want to be that dark. I want some not so white right here, just a little bit more. But remember, the big thing to remember with acrylic is it does dry darker, and 2 to 3 shades darker at that, and it doesn't take very long, and you'll see it. You'll go in and you'll be painting along, and you'll paint and you'll think, oh, that's really good, that looks good, it's light enough, I like that, and turn your head and look back at it again, and it's dark again. So that's just the nature of acrylic. Now oil doesn't do that, but I can't paint with oil because I just have it all over me. So this is what I've painted with. I've tried others. I like the water mixable oils or miscible oils. There's called 2 different things. I do like those, but I haven't painted with them for a long time. They're kind of the same consistency of a, this is a student grade acrylic. The water mixable oils are kind of similar to the Liquitex paint that I use, the professional grade. And I like those. The Liquitex is my favorite. That's what I use. But there's all kinds of paints out there. There's lots and lots of paints. And the thing of it too is once you're starting out and you're learning and you don't want to spend a lot of money on the paints, make sure that you like it. This is something you want to do, because paint's really, it is expensive, and the brushes can be too. But go with the student grade, see if you like it. It doesn't have as much pigment, but you can get an idea of whether you like to paint. And then move on to, if you like it and you know you're going to stick with it, move up to the professional grade paints, because they are great. They are Hey, Natasha, no worry. Yeah, you'll be able to rewatch it. Sorry you were late. Actually, I was late, 11:30 instead of 11. But yeah, you can rewatch it on the, it'll be in my timeline, my news feed, or at the top of the page in videos on my Art by Caramel Facebook page. But the professional paint has more pigment, and you don't use as much paint either. So there's, you know, things, advantages to that. Okay, so we've got this going on. Now we're going to go down to the bottom here. We're going to put in a little bit of this green color here. So in that gray mixture that I have, the blue and the brown gray mixture that we have there going on, I'm going to go in and I'm going to, without adding any more white, I'm going to make that blue and gray mixture just a little bit darker there. Making it darker down here in this bottom part is a little darker, you see. Then we're going to add some green. So this is like a misty, foggy morning. Just a real peaceful, out in the country, misty, foggy morning. So we're going to just scumbling in some of that darker there. All I did was took the more blue and brown, and I didn't add any more white, and just kind of made this a little darker here. Then I'm going to go into this green with that dirty brush that I have, into that mixture that I have, just some green into that gray color, and I'm going to just kind of swoosh up, scumble in, and just swoosh up some of that green. Just some indications of some grasses and things there. And for whatever reason, I don't know if it's just in here or what, but my paint is very wet this morning. Okay. So there's some of I'm just taking the side of my brush and I'm just kind of scooching in just some indications of some grasses, nothing real detailed. At this point, do not try to detail. Do not try to make anything detailed. If you go into a painting and you try to detail it too early, you'll end up with a mess. It will get too stiff too early on, and you will not have as loose a painting, and you'll be disappointed with it. So don't try to do that too early. So Jamie, hey Jamie, good morning. Hey, all right, so happy. Okay, so we've got that. I'm going to dry it a little bit more with the hairdryer just to try to cure it some. Because mine is just so wet. All right, that should do that. Sorry, I don't have one of those magic of television things where I can cut that part out and come back to you to save time. I wish I could. But that doesn't happen on here. So, all right, so we've got our background in. Now we're going to go in and we're going to paint these things here. So what we want to do is first draw in the shape of our that was going to be a fence post with barbed wire on it actually, and you can do that. I was going to take the barbed wire and put around here and, you know, go across or whatever, or down here probably would be a good place. just to indicate that this is a fence post. But that would have just taken more time and added more time to the video, so I decided not to do that. But you can certainly take this to the nth degree, you know, however you want to do it is up to you. So what we're going to do to paint that in is we're taking the blue and the brown mixture with no white. Blue and brown with no white will make a very dark color. Where are you all? A very dark color that looks almost black. So I'm going to start, this one is down about 3 inches, or what is that, 1, 2, 3, about 3 inches. So no big deal. The fence post is going to be up to here, okay, about that far. So just kind of look, get a little line in there with your brush, with the brown and the blue on it. Okay, so you're going to be from the side, it looks like a couple inches. So you're going to come in from the side here. So you're going to go down, that's your fence post on that side. And then on this side, your fence post is about, or a bit, whatever it is, that wide. Looks like 1, 2, 3, about as far as it was from the top here is as wide as it is. Yeah. So then we're going to just kind of take that down, just drawing in a rough edge of the side. Okay, so there's your fence post. So we're going to have in that fence post shape, we're going to have a dark spot here at the top, just to touch in some dark right there. That's one of those little holes. And I'm taking that dark and I'm putting in the indication of another little doodad right there. No exact, do not try to make them exactly like mine. Don't worry about that whatsoever. Just put these little shapes in there, it'll be fine. Nature took its course and made these little holes, and they don't have to be perfect at all. Okay, so there's your little hole shapes. You got, I put one here, there's one here, random, just there's a couple little ones here, and then there's one there. Looks like there's one there. Okay, so that's your darks. So then to that blue and brown mixture, I'm going to add just a little bit more brown. So it's more brown. And I'm going to go in and paint around those little dark places that I made. And I'm just taking the side of that brush is all I'm doing. I'm just scumbling in color. I'm just getting my form, just getting my shape. That's all you do in the beginning is paint shape. I'm just getting that shape. Make sure you guys can see. It's hard to paint in front of me and look behind me and make sure I'm not covering something up. Once your brush is empty, reload into that dark blue-brown color with the brown on your brush. Not covering up. I'm not covering up my darks. And remember what I said earlier too. This is the part of the painting where it does not look good. It will not look good here. It just won't. So don't worry about that and don't try to make it look good. Paint that all the way down to the bottom. And your darker color will be down there too. It's darker, but we're just getting this shape in right now. Just trying to keep those darks. Okay, and keep in mind, this is a stump, old, withered, wore out thing, and it's been here for 100 years, maybe not 100 years, but it's not straight. Do not make this straight. And when you're painting an edge, don't go like just sharp line down, like painting the edge like this, because that'll build up a ridge of paint right there. So when you're doing the edge, you just kind of want to just touch, and then you can go in and touch in front of it. You just don't want to build up that ridge of paint like I did right there, because it shows up when you're painting in it when it dries, and it just doesn't look very professional. So, all right, so there's your stump. You've got your shape in. We have a rough edge, not straight. We took the dark blue and the brown mixture and made the darks. And then we took the blue to that color, brown to that color, and painted in the rest around the darks. Okay, so we're gonna let that set for a little bit. And we're gonna rinse our brush. And dry it with a paper towel and lay that down. I hope everybody's able to paint along and paint with me. If you cannot, or you can't keep up, or you're having trouble, don't worry. This will be saved on my page, and you can follow along later. Hey, Paula, Ginger. Okay, so we are going to paint in the flowers. These flowers, we're going to paint in the stems now to give us an idea of where those flowers will go. So we're going to use, I'm using a 1/2 inch flat, going into the water with my brush and drying it with a paper towel. And I've got my brush here, 1/2 inch flat. I'm going to go into the green. I've got a lot of paint just running sideways on my, ooh, that was an awful lot of purple. Purple, a little dab will do ya. Usually just add purple a little bit at a time. We're going to do green and purple for the dark green of the stem. Purple is very powerful. It just takes a little bit of purple with a color, and it just takes over. So this just makes a dark green color. If you can see that, it just makes a dark green. And if you go beyond dark green and it turns into this ugly dark, real dark color, you've gone a little bit too far. So it's just a dark green color, and I'm flattening my brush, making it have a chisel edge by painting on the side, just flipping over back and forth and making a chisel edge there. So I've got a flower here, so that's what I'm going to make. If these aren't in the exact, just as long as they're in the general vicinity, don't worry about it. So we're going to start with that, and I'm painting on this tip of with the tip of the brush, the chisel edge. I'm not pushing very hard at all, and I'm just going to make a stem go down. Okay? Oops. And if you do that little mistake there like I just did, rinse your brush in the water, dry it with the paper towel, and just lightly just clean that off. Not with a lot of water. If you have a lot of water on your brush, it'll take the paint below of it off. So that fixes that. So then we're going to go back into that green color that we made, green purple color. Same thing, load my brush back since I cleaned it. Then there's another flower that's right here, down a little ways, 2 or 3 inches down from that one. So we're just going to start with the stem going down. And I actually didn't get my green dark enough, but if you don't, you can go back in and color them. They will dry darker though, so keep that in mind. Okay, so then you go green and purple, chisel edge. Then you've got one here that's crossing over this one. So it just kind of turns and then comes back down. Okay. Then that green and purple mixture. You've got one that turns here and comes down. And like I said, these do not have to be exact, not whatsoever do they have to be exact. Just in the general vicinity. The idea of it, the way they're crossing over, and that's important. This is bringing your eye back into the painting. That's important there. So yeah, that's good. But if they're not like in the exact perfect place, this one's just a little bit down lower than this one. So we'll start it there and come down. And there's a piece of grass there that going up, so it made it look like it was taller, but this is where this one stops. Okay, so there are your flower stems. All right, so then you're going to take either this same brush that you're using, or you can use a script liner. Hey Phyllis, or you can use your script liner. Melissa, good morning ladies. Or you can use your script liner to do this. Anytime you use a script liner, we're going to paint in these little doodads right here. Anytime you use a script liner, it's good to get your paint really wet. We're going to use that purple green mixture, so we're going to do purple green, that same purple green mixture that we were using for the stem. Anytime you use the script, you have to, your paint has to be soupy. Okay, so you want it to be, if you're using the script liner, you want your paint to be more liquid, like ink, I guess you would say, be like ink. So I'm rolling my brush in. I'm going to show you two ways to do this. I'm rolling my brush in the mixture. I'm just rolling my brush back and forth, and once it gets to the point where it's liquid, and I just keep dipping my brush into the water and making this liquid, rolling my brush to load it. Okay, then I'll go up here and make the little lines for the back of the flower, or the underneath of the flower, these little pieces that connect the flowers. And believe me, I wish I knew, but I do not know flower parts, so I can tell you, so bear with me on that one. All right, so we're going to start, either you can start in the center and pull out on each end, and this is the width of your flower. These little guys are going here, and say your flower is going to be that long, that wide. And then in between there, you're going to have, and you could start in the middle and go out, or you can start out here and come in, and you're just going to put in some of these little guys. Okay, somebody's playing some music around here somewhere. I thought I was by myself. I'm by myself in here, but I mean in this in the plaza, there's no one anywhere but the dollar store. The dollar store is packed. Oh my gosh, every time I come over here, the dollar store is packed. So that's the example using your liner. Then, if you want to use your 1/2 inch flat, you use that same color and you make a chisel edge on your brush. Load your brush, painting on both sides like that, and get your little chisel edge there. And then I just paint with the very corner tip of that brush, just pull, and I'm just pulling down and making that shape of the flower. And I'm just painting with the corner of this little piece right here of the brush I'm painting with, just a couple little bristles. And then that's that little guy. So you can do it with the liner, or you can do it with the 1/2 inch flat. But you just want to give just little indications of those little guys, okay? And then I want you to go back into the green, the brighter green, with that dirty brush and pull in some brighter green ones. Just pull just a couple, not a lot, just to get some green in there because those other ones are dark, okay? Then we'll go into the green and the purple again, that green and purple color, and using your 1/2 inch flat or your script, making these little things down below. And those are kind of, they're just shaped like, let me show you this liner. You'll kind of make just a line go down, and then they just kind of go out like that. But don't make them exact. Don't make it, paint them like so you could see every little single detail of it. You just want to put just the indications of that being in there. Pulling down with that liner, getting it wet. You pull down, and then make little kind of little wispy, branchy things coming out. That's what those look like. Okay? There's not a whole lot of them. And then you can do that same thing with the 1/2 inch flat and just using just that edge. Ooh. Can't paint with that brush in my hand because I can't put my pinky down. I put my pinky down and I brace it. I put my pinky on the dry spot on my canvas, and then that holds my arm steady. And I'm just using the corner of that brush and just putting in just some indications of those little things. It's probably easier to do with the script brush, but I'm just giving you an option if you don't have a script brush. Okay, so those are just some little wispies that are under the flower. So now we're going to go in and do these little, oh, we forgot this one over here. Do your, this flower over here, same way. You can do it with 1/2 inch flat or the liner. Put in your stem up above the stem. Put in the little thingies that hold the flower. Then once you do the darks, you can just take some of the green, just barely a little bit, not a whole lot. And if you need to blend, a lot of what I used for blending is my finger. This is like the best blending tool that there is, the best. So I'm putting in these little just indications of those little things right there. And then you go in and do the below it, those little things hanging down below it. It's like some sort of greenery stuff. Not sure what it's called. Does anybody know what that's called? No. Alright, so this is all in shadow, so we're not going to add any more of the green to it. This is pretty dark here though. Alright, so we've got those in. Now we're going to add those other little doodads. Put that brush down. I'm going to use, you can use your round or you can use the 1/2 inch flat for this. the little round early ones, the ones that haven't, there's not one there. The ones that haven't bloomed yet, take that green color, the green, I keep adding brown for whatever reason. I don't know why I keep doing that by mistake, but that's okay. It just makes a dark color. The green and the purple, green and purple makes a dark color. And we're going to go in and make this little round here. Just make kind of like a dot, 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 dot around. Henry does that at preschool. The dot, dot, dot. That's cute. Miss Kelly taught him that. A little dot, dot, dot around there. Just for the outside edge. Don't make like a circle. And then go into the white with that dirty brush and do the center, because it's a little wider. Dot into the center, okay? So you've got the outside edge and then the center. Okay, then rinse that brush, dry it with the paper towel, go into that dark green mixture again and do this center. Just make it like a, out from the stem a little bit. Make a dark center, just a little circle. Just dot that in, just to give it some texture. Then go into the white with that dirty brush, make a lighter color, and then just touch in around the outside edge of it. If you can't see it, because it's light behind it, you can make it a little darker, or you can add a little whiter, whatever will make it show up, okay? So you have those, that, and that one. Okay. Then we're going to put some of those little doodads on the bottom of it. I know doodads. What's a doodad? Well, that's what I'm calling these little thingies. So I'm going back in with my script liner, or your half-inch flat, the tip of your half-inch flat, whatever works. And then we're going to put in some of these little things here. So we're going to pull down the little pieces. And just making those little wispies there. And coming over to this one right here. And pulling those in. I was going to try and do this live from the house. I think I mentioned that last week. I would really like to be able to do this from home so that I don't have to run my gas out to come over here. But yeah, because I'm paranoid to stop at the gas station. I'm scared I don't want to get anything, and which most people are. And I know you can take precautions and pump gas for pity's sakes, but I'm one of those germ phobics. I just am like that anyway. So during this situation, I just want to stand still and not touch anything, and just, so to go to the gas station just plumb freaks me out. So anyways, if I do it from home, I don't have to run out my gas and come over here. But it's nice to come out and be outside, and this is therapy for me. I love this. I love painting. I love painting. It is the first few days after the coronavirus and everything, all that started, and everybody's talking about it, and they told us we had to work from home and everything. I tried to paint, and it was horrible. Oh, it just turned out horrible. Everything I touched was just like, oh gosh, I can't do that. It's because my mind was so much on that, and I couldn't quit thinking about it, that everything was just awful. So a few days later, I tried it again, and then it became, especially last weekend, the 2 lives that I did, it became more of a an outlet, a therapy, a way to just get away from it all and forget it all. And it was so wonderful. And I hope that's how this is for everyone. Because really and honestly, no matter how it turns out, it really doesn't matter, because you can go back in and work on it later, or you can go back in and paint it again different times or whatever. It's the therapy of the painting that's good for you, not if it turns out good or not. And certainly if it turns out good, I mean, you want it to. But if it doesn't, just enjoy that moment. Just enjoy the peace and the good feeling that you have. It just gives me, it just takes me to just a happy place. The good feeling that I get in my heart when I paint. I just love it. Okay, so now we're going to paint the whites of the flowers in, I think. Let's go back and give this a coat. I lied. Let's go back and give this a coat, and then we'll go back and work on the flowers since this is dried some while we've done that. So rinse that brush, lay it down. We're going to go back to the your large bristle brush. I know sometimes I change my mind, and I apologize for that. Hey, Doug. How are you doing, sir? So we're going to use this number 10 bristle again. So we're going to go into the that same blue, and oh gosh, my paint's all running together because I keep tipping it sideways to show you guys. I may have to get me some more. My blue is contaminated by my green. So we're going to go to that blue brown mixture, making that dark color. And we're going to go in and paint those dark areas again. There's one right here. I'm just using the side of my brush, just touching in some color. There's one right here. Just touching in color with that brush. And there's one here. Wherever you have yours, just whatever you've decided to do. And I'm just daubing in that color. I'm gonna put one right there too, I think. All right. Okay, so this time I want you to take that color that you have, and I want you to kind of smooch some of it down using the side of your brush. Just making this down here, we're just going to make this really dark. This side, we're going to make it really dark. Okay? So you've got that side of the stump's pretty dark there. Then I want you to, same as we did before, I want you to go back in with that dirty brush and go into the brown. Get some brown on your dirty brush and paint in the rest of the stump. Painting around those darks that you painted in. Once your brush is empty, just reload, touching in your color. Somebody is jamming now. I'm not sure where that's coming from. And touching in color here. Just painting around those darks. Just don't want to lose those darks. We have a, sounds like Elvira. We have a, I'm going to do a live for the kids this evening again. I hope, I know some of you had done with your kids the rabbit. That was fun. And then this evening we're doing the birdhouse with the birds. That'll be real cute. It's going to be a fun one. This one. Hope they don't miss out on that. That'll be really fun. I try to keep those as simple as I can too, so that they can paint along and enjoy them. And if they do paint them, and you know it's not just exactly right, it's the fun of it. Just like with adults, it doesn't matter if it's good or not. It's just the fun of it. Okay, so we've got that in. I'm gonna let that set a little bit. And dry your, rinse it and dry your brush with the paper towel. And we're going to use this brush, this bristle brush, just to paint the whites in of the flowers. The way we're going to do that is we're going to make a little bit of a gray color with the blue and the brown. And we're going to add some white, making a gray, really light gray color. So blue, my blue is like really contaminated. It's crazy. I might have to get some more. So blue, brown, and white makes a gray color, but we want it to be a really light gray color. Just a light, really light gray with this bristle brush. Looks like we have a couple more here coming on. Sheila and hey Betty Lou, good to see ya. Hope you guys are doing well. I hope everybody's doing well. All right, so we're gonna gray color on a bristle brush, and to do these flowers, we're just gonna smush this down and spread those bristles out a little bit. And then we're just going to touch in the shape of this flower, okay? So the dark goes in first. Anytime you paint anything white, you paint it with a gray first. And that's the shadow color. And then you go in and you add the white to it. I don't necessarily like to add pure white, but then you will add the white to that, and that going on top of that gray. Your gray is your shadow color. The white going on top of that will give that its form, and then the gray is the shadow. Okay, so that is your shape, and that's what I did there. Okay, so then I want you to go into the next flower. Same thing, gray color, touch in, touch. I'm just touch, just barely, not real solid, and I'm just touching, and I hope you can see that. Let me hold back. That shape, okay? Then I'm going to go in, get some more paint on my brush, and do this one over here. And we probably have to put some more of this little guy in once we paint the that down. All right, and then there was a couple of them in the background. I just kind of put some indications, and then I didn't put like real full flowers. I just put daub the color in the background there a little bit, just to show that there's some in the distance, just some back in there. And make sure when you do that you really think, okay, there's a flower here. Just don't do, crazy just all over the place. But that don't go berserk. Less is more usually. So then I'm going to take that dirty brush, go into the white, pouncing that on my plate to get just the bristles spread out again a little bit. But I'm adding white to that gray color, and I'm going to go in and touch on the top. I'm not covering up all my gray. I'm leaving some of the gray as a shadow, and this forms the flower, the Queen Anne's lace flower, and it makes it look like that lace part of the flower. Don't make it real solid. Don't just hit it hard. I'm just barely touching it. Barely. And then you can touch some of the just barely light on some of those that you did. Just barely. Just a breath of a highlight. And then on these you can put just a tiny on that one if you want. This one's showing the back of the stem. Okay. So that's there. Your flowers. All right. So then we're going to rinse that brush. And we're going to put in some of these grassy things here. We'll rinse this brush and lay it down. We go into the, you can use the 1/2 inch flat for this or the liner. So go into the purple and green again. So I'm just going into that green purple color, taking that brush, just making a chisel edge on it again, just making a chisel edge. Okay, so what we're doing now are just some of these little wispy little thingies, little flowers. Just pulling just up here, just taking the side of my brush, just pulling up some of the indications of some of those grasses and some of the little greenery that's coming off of those flowers there. Just in here, some of those. Once you're empty, reload. Don't keep trying to stretch it. Okay, so we've got some of those going on. And then you can take even some of the, like, coming from the edge, you can take some of those in there, pull in. Looks like I had actually put in some of that orange color, and we need to add some of that also. And I'm just taking that 1/2 inch flat, getting a chisel edge, and barely touching, not even pushing at all, and that's what gets those flowers, listen to me, those grasses going. We'll put some more of those in a little bit. And that got us started a little bit on some grasses. This little guy here, we need to work on him some more. This right here was just to warm it up a little bit in the grass in the front. What you normally do, your cools are in your distance, and as you come forward, your colors become warmer in the front. So that's where that came from. And what I used to do that with was some of the green mixture, and I added a little bit of orange to my brush. And then just drying it on my paper towel, mostly just getting some of that off of my paper towel. And I just took the side of my brush and just kind of scumbling in some of the orangish color. Most of them are just down low, down in here, and then pulled some of them up. There's not very many, but I just took that green color that I was using over here, just took a little bit of that orange in with that, and then wipe most of it, just daub it on your paper towel. And then just pull up just some indications of some of the grasses and smushing some of those in down here at the bottom. Taking that green, adding a little bit of orange. Okay. All right. So that pulled in just a little bit of warm. Don't overdo it. Don't go crazy with that. Just less is more. Subtle, subtle. Best thing to do also is to, if you're painting along, and you just need to back up. Back up about 4 or 5 feet back. Step back and look at your painting. Hey, Barb. Hey, Leslie. Morning. Is it still good morning or is it afternoon? Oh, it's not quite noon yet. The best thing to do when you're painting every now and then is to back up. Back up about 4 or 5 feet back. Look at your work, and every now and then you need to step back from it and look at it. You'll be able to see where you're too dark, too light, whether your composition is right, wrong. You can see things when you back up that you can't see when you're right up in it painting. You can have just a struggle with something and can't figure out what it is. And if you back up and look at it, you'll be able to tell. And another thing too is take a picture of it with your cell phone. That will show you immediately what is wrong with your painting. And sometimes you're painting along, and if you're up in it like that and you don't get back, you don't step back, you're just painting and you think that it is it's right. You think that it looks really good, and then all of a sudden you step back and look at it. You're about done with it, and you've just done it wrong all along. So you need to step back every now and then and look at it. You just need to. That's very important. Okay, so we've got these in. We're going to work on this now. We're going to get this guy going. Okay, so we're going to work on getting it a little darker over here. And like I said, this is a student grade paint, so it takes several layers. If you're working with a professional grade paint, this would have been covered by now. But this is the paint that we use in the class, so this is what I have. So I'm going to go back into I'm going to squirt me a little bit of blue over here, I think, that's not contaminated by green. All my paint's just rolled into that little pile over there. So I'm going to take some of this brown and blue. The blue and the brown color. Making this dark color again. I'm going to put a little bit of it over here. It's a little bit too blue. Put it over here on this dark edge. And remember, I said we'll probably have to paint over that flower again if need be. Maybe not. Okay, so this is our dark side. And then we've got these little dark little places. Make sure those are in. Some more, if yours aren't. Mine are just still not very covered. So I'm going to put in some more there. All right, so that's that. Then I'm going to add some more brown to that dirty brush. Paint in the rest of it. This is just getting more coverage. I'm not doing anything different than we did before. I'm just getting more coverage because I can still see a lot of my canvas. Just touching in this color. Just keep dipping in to my brown. Okay, so once I get that all in, I've got my darks and my darker side edge over here. And make this random. Please don't make this a straight line down. Make it so that it's an uneven, like this, not boom, straight down. Okay, so then I'm going to add even a little bit of orange to my brush, to that brown color, and pop in some warm over here on this side, on my light side. The sun's coming from this way, if you haven't picked up on that one yet. The sun's coming in from the left. Well, you guys are backwards. You guys are seeing it like a mirror image of it. So I can't say it's coming in from the left or the right, or you guys are going to be totally confused. So the sun's coming in from over here. It's coming in here. The sun is over here. Yeah, because my husband watched a little bit of it and he was like, "You're painting left-handed?" I said, "No, I paint right-handed." I said, "It's just a mirror image, so it makes it look like I'm left-handed, and I'm not." Okay, so then we're going to go into the white. Once we've got that on our brush, I'm not cleaning my brush or anything. I'm just going to go into some of the white, and I'm going to touch in a little bit of light on the right. See, there I go. Not on the right. I'm not going to say that. On this side of the darks, this is where the light's coming from. So I'm going to put on this side. We're going to drag down that brush with that light color and form these little dark places. That forms those little holes, and then you can go back over to the other side and just touch in just a tiny bit to shape in the other side. But do not form them perfectly, please. Do not go into that and make like a perfect circle shape or anything at all around those. Please don't do that. And then take that light that you have on your brush, go back into some more white. You can add a little bit more brown to that if you need to, the gray mixture. And I'm just taking this light touch on this bristle brush, and I'm just pulling it, touching, and pulling in that color. Okay? And I'll just soften on that with my finger. I'm just taking that light that's on my brush and just scumbling that on this light side. This light side. This is the light. This is where the light's hitting. It is from this side. And then over here, this is in shadow. And I'm just, once I run out, I'm just touching some in up here at the top a little bit. Once I run out, I just reload. You don't really want a whole lot down here at the bottom. Don't go over too far into your shadow, and don't put a whole lot down there at the bottom. Okay, so there's your stump shape. And then as this hits on this side over here, you can add more light. If it dries darker, you can add a little bit more light. But do not use pure white. Make sure it's tinted. And make sure your rough or your edge is soft here. Don't make a hard edge there. Where the light and the dark meet, make sure that it's soft. And then you can just take a little light to the edges of them, just to pop those a little bit. Make those holes just kind of pop. All right, so there's that. super. Then we're going to go in and add some more grasses. Over here, these little thingies that are part of the flower. We can add some more of those and some taller grasses. So the green color that we use, we're using rinse that brush, and I'm going back into my 1/2 inch flat. So go into the purple and the green, make a dark green color again. And you can use the script liner if you want for these, or you can use the little corner of your 1/2 inch flat. I'm just showing you with this now. Just barely take the edge of that brush to the very tip of that brush and make some of those little, I don't know what those, just the greenery that's coming off of those flowers looks like that. And then there's some just in just those little greenery things that come off the flower. Those little things right there. And you don't have to make them just perfect. You really don't. Just throw a couple in there, and once you get a couple in there, the viewer will figure, their brain will just look at that and just and know that that's what those things are. And if you don't put in every little single piece on every single flower, if you don't have them everywhere, the brain just figures that out, that they are everywhere. It just does. And you don't have to paint in every little single detail of everything, because you just give an indication of it, and the human brain just figures it out. It's best not to paint in every little single detail, in my personal opinion. I just think it's more fun to paint that way, not to paint in every little single detail. And you don't need to. I used to paint every little single thing in. Enjoy myself batty, just thinking I needed to paint every little thing in. And now I don't, and I enjoy painting more now. It's so much more fun to paint this way, for me. But you can take this as far as you want to take it. I mean, you can do with it whatever you want. Then you can take some of the grasses and put in front of your stump a little bit there when you're done with it. This too, once your paint dries out a little bit, it gets stiff on your plate or your palette. Wet it a little bit to where it's creamy. It should be like creamy, melty, soft butter. Not melted, but soft, sits in a dish out, gets soft. We do that with ours. I don't know if you're supposed to or not, but we do, and we have forever, and we're not dead yet, so I guess it doesn't hurt you. But just soft and not scoot across the canvas. Just smoothly goes across the canvas. So I just put a couple grasses in over there, just a couple in over here, just on this side. Okay, so I've got all the darker ones kind of in. Once you do that, you can go into the green. Add a little bit of orange to it if you want. Just do some brighter ones if you want. Just put some of the brighter ones in there. If you want some of those, you can do some of those. Okay? All right. And then don't forget, if you've lost some of that flour and you want to put some of that back in, you can. So we've got everything, I think, along here. Let's just touch in a couple more of the really bright whites on our flowers. Taking that bristle brush Going back in, touching down into the white, and just tiny bit of gray on it. Just not pure white, it's still white, but not pure white. Just touching down into some gray, just to getting that white, more white, and it's a thicker white, and just touching some of those brighter, just barely. And this is less is more, please. Don't overdo it with this either. This is just real light. Less is more. And the last thing you paint is the first thing that people see. So keep that in mind also. And then if you want to pop this just a little brighter. Well, I think that's it. There you go, folks. Sign it and date it. I like to sign mine down in the corner. I sign my first initial and my last name. Everyone signs theirs different. It's just a matter of choice. That's totally up to you. I sign down in the lower corner. Like I said, I sign my first initial, my last name, and then I put the year that I painted it. For a while, I stopped doing that, and I don't know why, but I did, and that is so annoying to me now, because I'll go back and look at paintings, and I signed them, but I didn't date them, and then I wonder, well, when did I paint that? So I think it's a good idea to date your paintings, at least the year, so that whenever you go back and look at your paintings, you know when you painted them. So I think that's a good thing. So, well, that's it. Hope you guys had enjoyed painting with me today. I enjoyed having you, and it was a lot of fun. I hope you learned, and I hope you enjoyed painting if you could. If you didn't paint, maybe you can paint along and watch it later. So you all enjoy your day. I hope that if you have children, you can come back and they can paint with me this evening. Like I said, we'll be painting the birdhouse and the flowers, so that'll be fun. And oh, thank you, Betty Lou. See you. Tell everyone I said hi. But the main thing is, like I said, is just to have fun. Let them have fun. If you get them to paint with you, they'll enjoy it. They'll have a great experience, and you'll be truly blessed, I promise. So thanks, everyone. Y'all have a good day. Hope to see you back here again sometime. Appreciate you painting with me. Y'all have hey Teresa, y'all have a happy Easter. Enjoy it as best you can, and God bless everyone. Love you. Thank you so much, and I'll see you sometime. Thank you. Bye.